Senate chamber in Austin. Today could be the day where both sides rest in the impeachment trial of Attorney General Ken Paxton. Thank you so much for joining us during the 8 o'clock hour of KPRC 2+ Now. I'm Zach Lashway. We're going to start this hour by breaking down each argument on the bench. It's a choose-your-own-adventure. Our approach, our coverage gives you a range of ways to track the ins and outs of the case on TV, on our live stream, and of course, our website, clicktohouston.com. Joining me this morning is Mario Diaz, a member of our team of experts on the bench. Mario, thank you so much for waking up
Good morning.
Early this morning to come in. A lot of developments Wednesday, especially late in the afternoon.
There were a couple surprises. Let me get right to it if you don't mind. Okay, the first big surprise that we saw was that the House rested its case. Not many people anticipated them to rest their case yesterday, but suddenly they rested their case. But before that, you had this dramatic moment in the chamber at the very beginning of the morning. And I mean the chamber, I mean just outside the chamber, in the gallery. You had the mistress in this case. This is what everyone has been calling her. Her name is Laura Olson. We have the video right there, as you can see. She was just outside of the chamber, and you can see her walking towards the chamber, and they opened the door. Everyone anticipated her to at least take the stand at some point and either testify or plead the fifth. She did not. They called her at about 9:30 a.m. and said, hey, the House calls Laura Olson. And at that point, there was a meeting. They moved to a different witness. And what happened after that was in the early part of the evening, late afternoon, I should say, around like 4 o'clock, you heard the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, the judge in this case.
Lieutenant Governor,
the judge in this case. There's so many people that it's complex up in here. You had the Lieutenant Governor in this case say, Laura Olson will not be available to testify according to her attorney.
That was later in the day after she had been called early on in the morning.
Right. She is unable to testify, even though she was present and she was in the chamber, and you can tell she was dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
But, and this is important, the Lieutenant Governor said both sides have agreed to this. So.
And that's what that means, unable to testify.
And both sides
agreed not to have her take the stand.
Are in agreement with the decision. Her attorney said she was unable to take the stand.
Interesting.
So, but we mentioned the mistake with Rusty, right?
Yes.
It's significant because of the fact that he didn't get to call Olson, okay, the way that they were anticipating. He also raises the question. That question is, who else are they going to call, right? Who else were they supposed to call? If they rest, they're done. So who you didn't hear from? You didn't hear from Nate Paul, the man at the very
center of this entire
the donor and close friend of that man. You also didn't hear from Michael Wynn, a Houston area criminal defense attorney. I've interviewed him in the past. He's also Nate Paul's attorney. You never heard from him about working closely together with the Attorney General's office to create these grand jury subpoenas and then serve them on these private financial institutions.
Why did he end? Why was this an early conclusion, if you will?
Well, that's a question that a lot of people were asking. What you did see from Rusty was an apology. He asked the court and he said, listen, I am so sorry, Your Honor. I made a mistake. I ended early. And credit to Tony Busby here in terms, and I'm just saying credit in terms of strategy and the way they are as professionals. I mean, Tony Busby was like a rattlesnake. He struck right away. He realized, he said, no, you know the rules. They said they rested. Those are the rules. And you saw him make that move. And I guess you were anticipating whether or not there was going to be a cross-examination from the defense. Didn't happen.
Okay. We have a soundbite that my producer Sam wants to get to.
Oh, this is Andrew Wicker. Okay, so let me just set this up really yesterday. You did hear from Andrew Wicker and Blake Brickman. Andrew Wicker was a personal assistant to Ken Paxton. When things started getting very interesting within the office and he had all these allegations, suddenly the AG's office made him an offer with regards to the FBI wanting to question him. Take a listen.
I retained Mr. Evans after being reached out to by the FBI, and after being offered counsel by the Office of the Attorney General, I chose to retain my own counsel that would look out for my own interests.
I want to make sure that I understand. At some point, the Office of the Attorney General offered to provide you an attorney?
Yes.
Are you under the impression you had done anything wrong?
No.
Did the Office of the Attorney General indicate whether or not they wanted you to speak to FBI?
They indicated that they would not like me to speak to the FBI.
And you said to protect your interests. What concerns did you have about using their attorney as opposed to your own?
I would assume that an attorney employed by the Office of the Attorney General would look out for the interest of that institution, but not for me.
So there you have Andrew Wicker testifying that when the FBI had questions, the Attorney General's office said to Andrew Wicker, again, this is the personal assistant to Ken Paxton, hey, we're going to give you an attorney. The AG's office can help defend you. He's like, no. Time out. I'm going to hire my own guy. I want my own guy to represent my best interests, which was intriguing.
Where do we go today?
You're going to have them back, both sides, before the Senate at around 9 a.m. The jury's going to be there. And then we're going to hear from the defense. Because, again, with the House closing, it's now on the prosecution side. And the defense side. And the defense can say, you know what? Our case rests. Yeah. They don't have to call anybody up there. Remember, Ken Paxton, the man that's right behind us there, doesn't have to take the stand. He hasn't been present throughout this entire process. So it's going to be intriguing to see what kind of case the defense presents, if they even do. They're not going to call many witnesses because from what I'm gathering, they feel very confident. Austin insiders telling me they feel very confident about where things stand. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear somebody who might be affiliated with constitutional law, with impeachments. I would say maybe an expert who's a Democrat by trade to help counter, to help counter the fact that I'm a Democrat, and even though I'm a Democrat, this whole process could be constitutionally wrong. That's what I'm hearing to expect today.
What's the likelihood of a verdict come Friday night?
Well, the verdict could be by Friday night. The verdict, okay, so they close. Let's say both sides close. You're going to have 60 minutes each for rebuttal of evidence. 60 minutes each for rebuttal of evidence, 1 hour, and then they're going to go to 1 hour of closing arguments, and that's it. At that point, the lieutenant governor has to charge the jury. That should take a process. So I expect that the jury could be getting this by late today. Not likely, probably tomorrow morning.
And they would have the whole day to
and they would have time to deliberate. They don't necessarily need the whole day. They can go back in there, take a vote, say, how do we feel? And it can be done right away. But it definitely looks like we're going to have a conclusion to this by tomorrow at some point. But again, Lieutenant Governor said if we have to deliberate through the weekend, we'll deliberate through the weekend on this. Okay.
Well, we know you are headed to Austin this morning.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Your reports will start airing at 3. 3 o'clock.
Start airing. Let's just say they're going to start airing. I might be stopping off in Bastrop. I'll be reporting outside the Buc-ee's there. We're here at the Buc-ee's. Here's what happened.
Bring us some beaver nuggets.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, mister. Well, we appreciate you waking up early. I know you are heading to Austin for our team coverage from the Capitol. Again, Mario's reports will begin at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I'm going to drop some 11-year-old philosophy. My son, as I was leaving to get to Austin today, says to me, he said, Dad, you know what I've noticed about life? When I'm bored, life moves really slow. when I'm having a great time, it moves along really fast. This is trials. So true, right? This trial is going to make us move fast today.
So true. Okay, safe travels, sir.